My name is Maui. I'm the president of the Arab American Chamber of Commerce, and today we're starting our new series, our new podcast and live stream series for the Arab Chamber of Commerce. I'm here with the secretary of the chamber, Elias. He can let us know a little bit more about what we're going to do here.
Yeah. Welcome everybody. Really excited, Maui. Thank you for joining and spearheading this initiative. I'm really excited about what we get to do here. And really our goal with the Arab American Chamber of Commerce podcast is to spotlight the stories of Arab American business owners here in Southern Nevada. And share the stories of how Arab Americans have journeyed to Southern Nevada, to America, to make positive contributions to the community, to employ people, to create jobs, and to solve the problems that the market faces through their businesses. And so I'm really excited that we get to do that.
That's great. I'm excited too, and we have a lot of good examples to present to the community. We have Raja Mori, we have Dr. Nassar, Dr. Alawir, and more people with the great success stories that we can present and make a good example to our community that success is possible with the right means, with the right network and the right connections. And they always say connections today are opportunities tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why we started the Arab American Chamber of Commerce, was started by Raja Mori a few 10 years ago, 11 years ago, something like that. And since then we start growing, and now we have a very solid community, hoping that can help each other and can make things easier for other businesses and newcomers to start their business, to find the right connections. Tell us more about how you've been doing this since since you started.
Yeah, I must have met Raja when I was a teenager, a long time ago. And he had told me about the chamber. And, I think it was right when COVID happened that, I was really getting really excited to participate in the chamber. And because of COVID, we didn't really have any of those opportunities or events. But I just kind of kept following up with Raja every couple of months, like, hey, what's going to happen? And finally, we were able to assemble the board and we started the events. And so that was how I came to be a part of the chamber. And the reason why it's so important to me to be a part of the chamber is multiple folds. One is, it's a community, right? It's a community of business owners, and I can always leverage that as a and there's a lot of folks in our chamber who have been doing business for many years, right? Probably collectively, it's like hundreds of years of experience.
Correct, yes.
And so I really benefit from that type of mentorship. And that was one of the things that drawn me. The other thing is the culture, right? Being Moroccan by descent, but growing up in America, it's been tougher to connect with my heritage. And so, being a part of the Arab Chamber, being a part of, a bunch of other Arab Americans has been a huge benefit to me. What about you, Maui? What has brought you to the chamber?
Well, same thing, Raja.
Yeah.
I think we missed Raja in this episode.
Yes, I know. I
But
can't wait to bring him on here.
Yeah. So yes, first, Raja, happy birthday. It's your birthday yesterday. So happy birthday. And yes, Raja contacted me just around the same time, and then COVID happened. He was looking, and we were looking for fresh blood. So we really assembled a new board with a lot of enthusiastic individuals that wanted to make a change, wanted to make difference, and I was so happy to be a part of it. Luckily, I was elected as a president, which is something I'm very proud of. One of my best things I've done since the time I moved to Las Vegas. As I mentioned, I love connecting with other, like-minded people. And now I'm not only connected with like-minded people, I'm also connected with people like me, with people with the same background, maybe went through the same struggles that I had to go through when everyone moves here, go through some struggles.
Of course.
But when you find people went through similar struggles to you, they can help you, you can help them. We can create a platform for other people when they come here not to struggle and not to make the same mistakes that we've done.
Right. Yeah.
That's and since then we start doing a lot of events, um, and meetings, business mixers. We're growing little by little, but we are going up.
Yeah.
And that's what, especially the way we started during COVID, things weren't easy. We could not meet as much. Most of meetings were virtual. Uh, People were uncertain what's going to
Right.
happen, especially with something with gathering, because
Yeah.
the whole plan when we thought about it is what doing like a lot of big events. But when COVID happened, those are all out of the window, out of the equation. So we had to adopt and cope with that new change, but we still thought about future. Luckily, the future came. I mean, it took some time, but it
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
And now we're excited about the events we've done and we're gonna make.
We had some really exciting events
Hmm.
over the past year. We had that grand opening
Hmm.
at the supermarket. And we had some other really cool events. Can you share a little bit about some of the events that we had going on, and maybe shout out some of the businesses that we got to support through those events?
Right, right. So we first event we made was the grand opening of Sunrise Mediterranean Market,
Yep.
which was actually very good turnout. We had maybe more than 100 people showing up, and according to the owners, the sales went up, maybe 40 to 60%.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
since the grand opening,
Nice.
we made a huge, like
It
big
was on the
news.
news too.
It was on the
That's
news,
the
right?
benefit of the chambers. It brings that level of like authority. What's you know credibility, right?
Credible. Yeah,
And the news, I think they crave that.
they love it. Yes, and we were able to also invite people from the senator office,
Yep.
from the House Representative office, from the governor office. We're hoping even sometime one day to invite the governor, maybe if we have the event for it. We recently done the spring and Eid party.
Yeah.
That's one of actually. Unfortunately, we had like a big breeze and big wind that kind of cut it short to like hour and a half instead of 2 hours that we planned. But it was great. It was one of the. I mean, I believe it's the first Eid party done in Las Vegas in that scale. We had more than 100, like almost 200 people showed up.
Yeah.
We had food. We had animal, like small mini zoo. We had game truck. We had games. We had a lot going on. We had some of our vendors showing what they do and what they sell. That was big for us. Unfortunately, again, the wind cut it short. But I was happy seeing all those kids playing, all those people connecting and talking about life and business, and how our chamber was able to make those connections and also to bring people together in a time where people were looking to find something to feel the sense of family, sense
Absolutely.
of.
Yeah, combination of the post-COVID world, and then there's not that many Arab-oriented events in Southern Nevada yet, and so to be able to contribute to the culture in that way is definitely really powerful. I'm just thinking about the folks that are watching, and they may not.
Religious and cultural Ramadan.
Yeah.
Actually, it happens after the month of Ramadan and after the pilgrimage, after Hajj, which happened just last week.
Yep.
So last week we had Eid, but it's too hot to do anything here in Nevada.
For sure.
So, like, I'm sorry, people. But that time it was like around the springtime. So it was perfect timing for an outdoor event.
Yep.
And what we do is we dress new. We give money for the kids and gifts. It's like Christmas.
Yeah.
Plus, we also give for the poor, and there's a lot of culture in it. Beside the religion, there's a lot of culture because it's been done for years and years in multiple countries that have sometimes different culture.
Yeah.
So seeing that happening in here in Nevada, it's really beautiful because it's not only really one culture. Because although we're Arabs, we have a lot of similarities, but we're still different.
Yeah.
Right. So seeing all that difference happening together and becoming like one, and showing actually we are not that different,
Yeah.
in the core,
Yeah.
and uh, make me believe that this is the right thing to do. The chamber is the right route to go,
Absolutely.
because we have a lot in common. We have more in common than things will make us apart.
For sure. Yeah. It's a beautiful tapestry of culture, right? And all of the variety that we have. And here in the Arab American Chamber, we probably have maybe a dozen or more countries represented with our membership.
Right.
And it's really powerful to be able to unite the culture together and the Arab American community together to support the Arab businesses. Can you share a success story, an example of a business, maybe your own, in terms of how it was able to be supported by being a part of the chamber?
Yeah, actually, I can talk about myself. I work in IT and cybersecurity field, and being part of the chamber and president especially, which means like I'm always seen. I'm always, when I talk, people listen. Made made me more visible to other business owners, especially that I work with HIPAA and medical practices and HIPAA compliance. And one of the great things that we have, that our 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 businesses here, and the community here, we have a lot of doctors,
Yep.
a lot of medical staff, nurses, lawyers, business people. So that helped me a lot, because now I have access to all that, and I was able to pick multiple clients from the chamber, and I was able to help them, protect them from the wild west
Yeah,
there,
for
the
sure.
internet.
For sure. That's definitely really great to have that community and, really incubate the business because you get multiple contracts and
Mhm.
whatnot. Can you talk a little bit more about ICU Computer Solutions, what exactly you do through that?
So I started ICU Computer Solutions now 10 years ago. Exactly 10 years ago I
Nice.
started.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you. Thank
amazing.
you. Actually, ICU could just turn 10 years
Yeah.
just recently.
Wow.
Yeah, end of May. So what happened is I moved to Las Vegas from Dubai in 2013, uh, looking for a change, right? Looking for a new opportunity, especially in the land of opportunities,
Yeah.
The United States of America, which it is and still is.
Hmm.
Which is very important, because you hear a lot now about, oh, the U.S. this, the U.S. that. Yes, the U.S. has a lot of bad things and good things, but it's still where you want to be if you want to make money, if you want to grow, if you
For
want to
sure.
become successful. Of course, there's other countries that you can do the same, but I can guarantee you, if you have the right mindset
Hmm.
and have the right tools, with some help, you can be successful here. So I moved here, and a year later, after looking for jobs and people not taking me serious, although I have a very long experience, more than 10, 15, 10, 12 years maybe in my field, uh, I couldn't find a job because I didn't have working history here.
Right.
Even when they put my social security number,
Hmm.
there's nothing. so so I decided, you know what, I'll just go from door to door, business to business, ask them, hey, do you have a computer you need to repair? Do you have a laptop you need to upgrade the SSD or something? And this is how I started.
Yeah.
And funny enough, the first day I went out, and maybe this was a sign that I'm doing it right. First day I went out, and I went door to door offices, and I left my card there. 2 days later, somebody called me from one of those offices, and she was like, "Hey, this is not for work, but I have a computer. I need this to
Okay.
be done on it. Can you do it?" I said, "Yes, I'll come pick it up, fix it, bring it back to you." And I did, and she paid me, and I was so happy with the money.
Right. First client,
Yeah,
right? In
first
America,
client.
this is a big deal.
It is a big deal, and I thought, you know what, this is the right way. Let's see how this is supposed to be done.
Yeah.
So I put more time in research, more time in planning, because honestly, I just started. I did not even plan.
Right.
But then I start putting more time in planning, more time, and I start learning. Like you may, it's like a kid. You keep falling down and getting up, falling
Yep.
down till they start running.
Yeah.
You don't start running from the you start crawling, walking a little bit, falling down, and then you start walking, then you run.
Yep.
And I'm hoping that I'm in the running phase, but this is how things started. Luckily, I met a lot of great people, and as you said before, even joining the chamber, being in such a community that is business oriented. That's one thing about us. We are business oriented. We like to be business people. We like to be businessmen and women. Uh, Sometimes too much. Nobody want to work for anyone.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Everybody wants to be their own boss.
Exactly. Which is good,
Yep.
because eventually, you can't be your own boss if you cannot survive.
Right.
So evolution will probably
Yeah, totally.
will pick the right people, and the people who cannot do it will go back to the workforce. But anyway, meeting the right people helped me, open for me those doors. Little by little, I start having more clients, and I start focusing on medical offices.
Okay.
But then what happened is, when COVID hit, things have changed.
Right.
Cybersecurity, cyber attacks
Oh,
became
they
on the
went up.
rise. Yeah.
Mhm.
The reason why is people start working from home in very vulnerable environments.
Yeah.
You're talking about, like, you're on your laptop or your computer. First, you're using your whatever inner provider router.
Yep.
There's no real firewall filtration system going there, and there's a big chance you are using the same computer that you're 13 years old playing Minecraft on.
Right.
So this is very vulnerable system. So attacks start becoming like like
Astronomical.
astro-
Where did the attacks originate from? In my mind, I'm imagining like North Korea, China, Russia is like targeting our
I mean,
businesses, or are they local, or do you even look at that from?
we do, yes. Most of the times they are from Russia and Eastern European
Okay.
countries.
Okay.
Most of the times.
And they're targeting business owners here in Las Vegas because the benefit is they might be able to withdraw some money from these businesses, or be able to hold their data hostage, especially if it's like healthcare. Is that some of the risks?
That's one way. So what they do is they cast a wide net,
Mm-hmm.
and then they start collecting whatever they can collect. Uh, it's not targeted anymore. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
yeah, I mean, they still do targeted attacks,
Mm.
but the amount of money you can, like, if you attack 10 organizations, asking them for $50,000 ransom, and two pays, and eight just ignore you or whatever, that's $100,000. So that's their mindset. Get more attacks,
Gotcha.
and whatever comes, it's a numbers game.
And it's also probably they're using some kind of sophisticated automations too. It's not like
most of it is automated.
Okay. Wow.
Most of it, there are tools now that can scan the internet,
Yeah.
and find vulnerabilities,
Mhm.
find open networks,
Yeah.
and just once it's found, automatically it's attacked.
Wow. So can you talk about some of the common like threats, especially with the work from home environment, or even with, a lot of the business owners, even here in this incubator or part of our chamber, many of them are, the solopreneur, or they're the person in charge of their business. They're probably working from home as well.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the common like phishing attacks or vulnerabilities that they're introducing into their work that you want to mediate for?
Well, phishing, you mentioned phishing. Phishing is a big problem, and now they use something called social engineering.
Yeah.
Which is basically they learn about you from from what you put out there.
Mm-hmm.
The more you put out there, the more they know about you, and they can use that against you. This is how it happened with the MGM attack
Okay.
a few months ago. If you remember that?
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Yep. They paid. I think
they paid the ransom.
they paid the ransom.
That's wild.
And they still went down for like 2 weeks. Imagine.
Oh, the hotel, all of the hotel system, right?
Yeah. A lot of times it makes sense more to pay the ransom than mitigate or fix the problem,
Mm.
because paying the ransom, just restoring data from backup for huge organization like MGM or CDK. I don't know if you heard about CDK.
No.
It's a car software. It's not car
Oh,
dealership software.
okay.
They use it for selling, maintaining. A lot of times, paying the ransom is better because recovering all that data can take months.
Right.
You're talking,
Meaning there's a bigger cost because you're investing in recovering the data, and then
yes,
there's a
downtime,
lost opportunities because you don't have
downtime.
the
There's
data.
big downtime.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So what I suggest is to be on some kind of cyber. We provide cybersecurity training
Mm-hmm.
for our clients, because no matter what kind of protection we provide, I learned that cybersecurity is not a technology; it's a process.
Okay.
It's a process, and we help with that process. And big part of the process, I always tell my clients, who is don't, especially the one who, like, when I convince them about the training, that you are one click away of losing your business, because 60% of small businesses, they go down after the 6 months after a cyber attack, because either they don't pay and they can't recover the losses.
Right.
In 6 months they discover that I can't do it anymore,
Mm-hmm.
or they pay and it's too much money and they cannot recover it in 6 months or a year, so they just go out of business. So training your employees and yourself is very important.
For sure. Yeah.
Before anything else, this
Mm-hmm.
is number one. Yeah, educating yourself about scams, about phishing, about those phone scams you get on your text. Hey, how you doing? Been a while, didn't see you.
Oh yeah, those obvious scams,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
hey Deborah, and then they expect you to reply back, "This isn't Deborah. Who's
yeah,
this?" And
exactly,
then they got you that social engineered conversation down. If they know about you, then
exactly,
it's even worse.
exactly.
Just a quick story.
Mhm.
When I was at Homey, which is a real estate tech startup out of Utah, and I was part of their marketing department, supporting social impact. I would always get fake emails and fake texts from our CEO, and it'd be like, "Hey, this is Johnny. I'm picking up the kids right now. I got an emergency. Could you call me to do this or do that?" And I was like, that's not, how the
Yeah,
CEO is going to reach out to me. I
exactly.
know that that's a scam, but I can imagine how other people will fall for stuff like
It
that.
does happen. It does happen all the time. I know people who did that. Actually, it's funny enough. Same story. I guess they use the same process for
Mm,
everyone. I'm doing something, and I need this. Can you send me this much money in gift cards? I need,
right.
go buy me like $200 gift card and send me the numbers. And of course, because you don't want to lose your job.
Like the boss needs gift
Yeah,
cards.
especially some bosses would do that. This is the funny thing, because some
Right.
bosses would do
Yeah.
that, and some bosses, like, they're not easy to, or like, sometimes it's very sensitive relationship with your boss.
Right.
You don't want to say something that triggers them, like, you know what, I'll just go get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So with that
Oof,
said,
that's where good leadership is important, right?
yeah,
Because if you can't have that open communication,
exactly.
it's more vulnerable.
Exactly. So and that would happen, and people would send
Yeah.
those gift card numbers. But tell me more about you and about the tech start that you started.
Yeah.
What brought you to, did you come to Las Vegas from Morocco, and how you ended up doing this?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for asking, Maui. So I came to America when I was 2 years old,
Hmm.
probably injured from New York. And, my parents were seeking asylum.
Hmm.
And so they were asylum seekers, which is what brought us here. And I lived up and down the East Coast. My family was trying to figure out where's home, right? So I remember growing up in South Carolina. I spoke English for the first time when I was 4, because it's like more Arabic in the household, Dutch in the household,
Hmm.
English, and so my first words came out with a Southern accent because
Oh,
I
that's
grew up in
funny.
South Carolina, and then I lived in Florida, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania before we came to Vegas, and came to Vegas when I was probably 11, 12 years old.
Mhm.
And Vegas has been home since then. Really love Vegas. And one of the reasons why I really love Vegas is it's been one of the few communities around the world that I've lived in where it doesn't matter how you look or who you are, you'll likely be accepted. Right? That wasn't always the case in some of the neighborhoods in South Carolina.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated that about Vegas. And as immigrants, right? When you enter a new community, this isn't just a human thing. This is like a biology thing. There's extra stress, right? There's extra
Correct, yeah.
expectations. You've got to work harder. You're the underdog. And so my parents raised me with these values of like hard work and much like other immigrants, like, hey, focus on your education. If you can do your education, you can do good at that, then the opportunities will open for you. And so I was a nerd, super nerd,
Okay.
studying all the time. But what that led to was I ended up finishing high school super early. And then I finished when I was 14.
Oh, wow.
I go to UNLV at 15.
That's impressive.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it was really my parents. I got to give them the shout out. My dad would read Shakespeare to me when I was 5 and, give me all the encyclopedia books or computers or open things up with me, right? So it was a very learning environment in my house. And I was homeschooled for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually the state of Pennsylvania said, oh, homeschooling is illegal now. You can't do that.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah. Everybody's got to go get state tests. So I go do this state test when I'm 10, and they're like, you were at a high school proficiency. And so when I came to Vegas, I got to enroll in high school at like 12. And I was also behind in school because I was in the middle of the semester. And so the principal's like, dude, chill, like don't even take class, like come back next year. Because if you enroll now, you're like 200 classes behind. And I was like, no way. I could do the 200 classes.
Yeah.
And somehow I did. Somehow I did, 20, 30 lessons a day. And I was able to catch up on all my schoolwork. And so I finished high school really early. I go to college and I'm at UNLV. And I was such a awkward kid at UNLV that like my way of making friends was like pointing at people like, do you want a duel? And I share that story because UNLV is where I grew up. Being undocumented, I couldn't get any scholarships. And so it was web design and digital marketing skills that helped me pay my way through school.
Oh.
And so that was a surprise to me, right? Because I couldn't get FAFSA. And every semester it was like a battle. It was like, oh man, I owe this much in tuition. And, there are times when my parents were really good because they were business owners too. Mm-hmm. They had a hookah lounge and some grocery stores. So there's times where it was really good and they're able to pay for that. And then there was times where it was really bad. And I was going to get kicked out of school, and I'd have to go sell a couple websites to pay my way through school. And so that was how I got into the digital marketing space. And I shared the homeschool story because I walked into college as a super awkward kid, and I walked out as student president. And so, I feel like I really matured and grew up on campus. I met a ton of people, and I used digital marketing to win my student government election. Continued working, using that digital marketing skill in my early jobs. And then after college, I was applying to medical school. But I also got this invite to go live in the Airstream Park, which was founded by Tony Hsieh, who, rest in peace, has made a huge impact in this community. He founded a bunch of companies. The latest one was Downtown Project, but before that was Zappos, and he sold Zappos for like $900 million. Right, and so I got to live in his community in his trailer parks. So I was literally in the trailer park right across from his, and got to see all the goofy antics. And more importantly, I got to be surrounded by, really high level tech entrepreneurs. And I had this epiphany that I didn't want to go to medical school and do another 10, 12 years of studying, even though I love studying, I love biology, I love medicine, and I love neuroscience especially. But I just had this like urge that I couldn't get over of like, I just want to go into the community. I want to do politics. I want to do organizing. I want to build my tech company. This is what I want to do. And so I had that very awkward conversation with my parents of, hey, I joined this like community of, some tech billionaires, some tech millionaires, and a bunch of random weird people. And they could, they inspired me to not go to medical school, even though that's what we've been working on. So that was a terrible conversation for when it happened. But so I got to launch my first tech startup, and then on top of that, it failed. So I did 9 months in that startup, and I was pitching. I went to San Francisco trying to raise money, doing all the things that you think you'd have to do for a tech startup. Right. When it failed, I ended up being one of those guys who had to join the workforce again. And luckily, through that neighborhood, I got to join Uber's launch team. And so when Uber got kicked out because they were being a bunch of assholes to the state, they weren't really being nice. they needed some nicer people to come in and rebuild those relationships. I got to be one of those junior folks, part of Uber, helped relaunch them. And that was a wild time because it was the fastest growing company in the world and one of the fastest growing markets in the world. And so it was a lot of intense work, but I got to do that. And I've done some other venture-backed tech startup launches since then and worked for a couple agencies. But in 2 years ago, in 2022, I decided to take my next bat, swing at the fence with launching my own company. And I launched TechStart, which is really focused on helping empower people with technology, because a lot of folks right now in the world are getting disrupted. Right. And I take it super personal because I imagine, like, Maui, if I didn't have the web design skill, would I even be here right now? Would I have been able to graduate UNLV? Would I have been able to go to college? Would I have been able to get the jobs to support my family? Probably not. Probably right? Not, yeah. And then how did I get those tech skills? It was other tech entrepreneurs mentoring me and pouring into me. And so because of that, I made that my mission to focus on helping empower people in this digital revolution. And so my company, we sell software. We sell business management software that does things like website hosting, email marketing. We can automate processes for the back end of businesses. And I'm grateful that, I've passed the 2-year mark now, and I've been able to work with over 300 members now that are part of my business, and over 50 businesses, organizations that use our automations. And so that's where we're at right now.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
So mentioning that, it's a long journey, and I'm sure it's a beautiful journey with all the ups and downs. What is your advice for somebody like in similar situation? To go, if they are going through this, what's the mistakes you wish you not like you didn't do? What things you can tell them so maybe it will make it easier to start a tech startup?
Yeah, I mean, if folks want to start a tech company or a startup, especially in 2024, one of the biggest mistakes I made was trying to go raise money in the first place, and raising money in a world where you didn't have a proven business model or proven product market fit. And the first time I did it, I failed completely. I didn't raise any money. The second time I did it, I raised like $20,000. But my relationship with that investor deteriorated and fell apart, and then I got sued over that investment.
Oh, wow.
And it was not worth it for $20,000. And so what I would say is, like, for anybody who wants to start a tech company, you need to achieve product market fit, especially in 2024. There's all of these folks who are like, oh, I'm going to start this thing, I'm going to start this app, and it's going to be great. And I believe you. It's going to be great. Your vision is awesome. However, the market changes so fast right now that your vision today has to change by the time it's next week. And if you're out there just talking about your ideas and raising money, then you're not executing on that vision. So I would always say, like, achieving, get the minimal viable product achieved first and go sell it. Deliver value with people. And one of the investors I got to connect with, I'm forgetting his name. I think it was Bill something, but he was Bill. I think Bill Gurley, I want to say, or Bill Gurley, and he was an early investor for Uber and all these other tech startups. And he had a quote that was, do things that don't scale so that you can do things that do scale. Sometimes we think, oh, we have to have this like perfect app in order to enter the market and solve a problem.
Right.
But if you can manually solve the problem so that you can generate value, so that you can collect a paycheck, go do that first until you generate enough revenue to start investing in the technology resources. And then, so do things that don't scale, like do the manual hard work, so that you can eventually do things that do scale, which is build the technology that's going to help automate that work. And I see a lot of people who say, I want to start a tech startup, and then they stay in the world of ideation, trying to raise money. And the thing is, the market is just moving so fast that you need to be in the market if you want to be successful.
That's good. Thank you for the advice. That's great advice.
Yeah, thank you. What about you, Maui? I mean, what are some things that you're excited about this year? I mean, the Arab Chamber, we're 6 months into the year. We've had some really great events this year. What are some things that you're really looking forward to this year with the Chamber?
Well, we have a lot of events planned and a lot of things going on. So we are planning for like a big event, probably mid-September. This is we still do. I don't want to talk about it that much because there's still a lot of details to work on. I'm also excited about those new members.
Yeah.
My goal is to get those new members, to get new businesses from the chamber. And I want to make that, a list of those, because you asked me earlier, and I really could not remember any, because we are not talking about this. We are introducing them to each other, and we don't know what happens. So I'm excited to know now. Now you brought this up. Excited to know how we impacted, hopefully positively,
Yeah.
all those businesses. I know we did. I can see some relationships happening, but I want to go in more details and learn more about it, because
Absolutely.
that will inspire us to do more, and will lead us on how to focus, make the chamber focus on that, and get more results from that side of things.
For sure. Yeah, definitely excited. I'm looking forward to doing more of these podcasts where we can spotlight folks. Definitely need to bring Raja and Dr. And all the doctors over here.
Yeah.
One note about the Arab Chamber, and one of the things that I'm really excited about our presence in this community is being able to advocate for the unique, for our unique community, right? There have been a lot of, struggles and misconceptions and issues at a national level. If you look back over the last 20 years, right? I won't be specific, but it should be obvious, like that.
We know, everyone knows what we're talking about.
Yeah. and so advocating for Arab Americans as like contributors to our society is really important to me. And one of the things that came out of the last legislative session was, I believe, Assemblywoman Brittany Miller. She passed the bill for adding Middle Eastern North African to the caucus. And so that is definitely a small example, a worthy example, because it's going to give the state a lot more data. It's going to give us as a chamber a lot more data about Arab Americans in Nevada. But I'm excited about what else we can do for the community next year.
Right. I mean, as you said, for years we were like hiding in the shadows.
Right.
Right. We're happy to to claim that we are white, because we don't want people to know about us.
Right.
The truth is, the less they know about us, the less they can help us if they want to help.
Yeah.
The less benefits we can get when they are giving benefits. Right. It's not happening all the time, but sometimes it happens. And then they go, "Oh, you guys are white, you're fine."
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That's not true. I mean, it's not the case. So we have to find our category. I'm happy that Assemblywoman Brittany Miller really worked on that piece of legislation, and she accomplished it. And now at least the state of Nevada knows more about us. They can take us more serious, and they can understand how positive we can impact. Because if you want to know about us and just watch the news, come on,
Right.
You're gonna just hear, crappy things about us.
Yeah.
But that's not the truth. That's not even 1% of us, who does that. It's a very, very small portion of Arabs would do bad things. Actually, I believe Arabs are one of the best immigrants that came to the United States, because we are business minded. We want to. It's for us. America is a second chance. We came here because, for whatever reason, in our countries, we could not succeed. Most of us came here on an airplane. We traveled like
thousands
of miles, right? So we are willingly here. We weren't kicked out from anywhere. We brought all of our education, all of our experience to this country, hoping for another chance, hoping that if we have equal opportunity and equal chances, we can produce something good.
Absolutely.
Because not going into politics and country by country, but there's a lot of unfairness back in some Arab countries, where if you are not from certain group or certain people, you will not succeed.
Yeah.
Plus there's but here is different. So we're focused. We're not here to play. We're here to make money and succeed. And the amount of now I see it in the newer generation, the amount of people who goes to like medical school,
for sure,
to become lawyers, or to open like entrepreneurs to open new businesses, ideas, is huge. Actually, it's more than back home. Back home, because we are all like all the same people basically. You will see somebody succeeding, somebody failing. Here you feel like there's no room for failure.
Right.
Somebody's parents will tell you like, hey, I didn't travel all that much for you to fail.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
so this, I think, inherited in even newer generation, which is great.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's folks that are doing both, going to law school and starting a business. Shout out to Michael Shabood, who's on our board,
Yeah.
who has his law firm, who recently, not too long ago, graduated and entered this
Yep.
space. And so definitely got to bring him over here too.
Yeah, and he helps a lot of immigration cases and
Yeah.
a lot of new immigrants and asylum seekers. Actually, I would love to have him here next, like sooner.
Yes.
He has a very interesting story to tell, and his clients have a lot of stories. So he started. I would tell you, like by he became a lawyer because the amount of amount of legal documents he had to fill out for his parents.
Right.
So we have a unique story. Every one of us, we can tell, and we can inspire other people who's coming here, recently is moving here.
Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in and watching this first episode of the Arab American Chamber of Commerce podcast. Maui, really excited to be in partnership with you.
Thank you.
And yeah, any
Hopefully-
final remarks?
No, I mean, tune in. We'll have more of these. Hopefully, we'll not be very, far apart. I know this is the first time, so we're gonna just get better, like we
Yes.
always do.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Thank you.
See you next time.
See you next time.